Hi, I'm Rachel Whitefield, certified life coach, and with me is our resident reality show binging boss lady, Jackie Black. Thank you for joining us on another fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent
Spellbound with Black.
and Whitefield.
Ooh, that was a mouthful of a nickname today.
It really was. I went through it very carefully, and we only had to do one take, which is great.
Yeah, heck yeah. What are you drinking? Wait, do you have ice malts today?
I do have ice malts today. They are the same from the last show because they came in a four
Yikes.
pack of, and it's a very hefty ice malt. It's like, I would say it's up there like with the Death Star because it's just a very hefty ice mold. You only need one and it
Yeah.
lasted the entire show. I once again have coiled
Nice.
snakes because it comes in like a
Love.
four pack ice mold. So, um, coiled snakes, maybe it's a rattlesnake. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. It just reminds me this is how they
Wow.
like coil up because we had that education
Uh-huh.
living in the desert. So I've got the rose
Yep.
gold shimmer powder in here once again.
Love it. You drinking anything special?
Um,
Anything special?
just once again from the last show, the Breckenridge spiced whiskey from Breckenridge Distillery in lovely, beautiful Breckenridge, Colorado. So shout out to the
Love that.
locals here in Colorado, a thriving alcohol industry in this wonderful state. So just gonna pour over my one giant rock today.
I'm having some Ocean Heart again.
Oh,
The
is that
Micah
your
from Norway.
yeah, your Norway whiskey?
Ugh. I'm gonna have to go back to Norway, I think. Actually, there is a artist that I follow, and all of her shows are in Norway, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go to Norway to
Yes.
see her, which means I'm gonna bring back one or three more bottles of these.
Yes. Yes, because
And, it's
what those resell for in America, it might be cheaper to just get on a flight to Norway.
it's crazy.
Mhm.
I didn't even realize, but whatever. It is high quality Arctic Ocean water whiskey, and
Hmm.
I'm in love with it. It's gonna
Absolutely.
be a shame when it's gone.
Well,
Ooh,
Clinkies.
clinkies,
Clinkies.
clinkies. Mm.
Mm,
And as my nickname would suggest, we're talking about reality shows again on
absolutely, we are.
pod today.
Hmm.
I love my reality shows. They are just an escape from reality, really, to be honest. And of course, the show's favorite reality show, Love is Blind, is back.
Absolutely. Season 7. And I just want to say, I was never really into reality TV show. I watch it for my love of you, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy Onassis.
And see, here's the thing. This season, it started out real slow, but then got juicy.
It
It got
really,
hot
it really,
quickly.
really did. And I have got opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So are
Yeah,
you ready
you've
to
been
jump
saying
right
that.
into it?
Absolutely. We're just gonna move through the couples really quick
Hmm.
and talk our smack. Is really what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Um so
I'm
let's
ready.
start let's start with my actual person. I'm going to start with my personal favorite. How about
Hmm.
that?
Okay.
I'm going to start with Taylor and Garrett.
My personal favorite as well.
I
Absolutely.
like them. They're
Mhm.
smart, they are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And if you've seen him lately on social media, holy cow, he looks wifed up. He looks
Yeah.
like a woman has gotten a hold of him and has done her magic. Sometimes like a woman marries a man and then they or like gets with a man and like slowly he evolves into this something like she married a boy, made him into a man kind of change that happens. It
Yeah.
is very apparent on him.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that they're both just smarty pantses. Couple of scientists.
I love that as well. I was like, I hope this works out from the moment they were like, I have a science-based tattoo. I too have a science-based tattoo for both of them. And I was just like, please, please,
Please
please
work.
have them choose each other for the love of
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Please. And
Yeah.
it did. And, I think, last there was kind of this regular, and we called them like a boring couple, Johnny and I forget her name, but they were just like in love with each other from the very beginning. And everyone was like,
Yeah.
oh, we forget their names. They're so run of the mill. They're so boring. And I was
Because
like,
they're in love.
I like that couple. There was a bit of drama with Garrett and Taylor, but
There
it was
was.
like from the beginning, there wasn't a love triangle. There wasn't this sense of lack. There wasn't like she was really in it for the experiment of Love is Blind. And I
Mhm.
really think that it was very much like, hey, I found someone that I want to get to know better and we're good. And he kind of,
Yeah.
I would say he knew what he wanted as far as like wife material, because I remember when he came out of the pods with Brittany, who said she was a trophy wife, he was like, my wife is not in there. And I
No.
laughed. So the fact that she always kind of kept him like, you're still gonna have to keep working for it. You're still gonna, what makes you think I want to be your girlfriend? Like she did not give it up to him totally at the beginning. She kept him on his toes, and I love it. I loved it for her.
Yeah.
She is so adorable. She
She's
is so
so cute.
beautiful. Her freckles, her dimples, like everything about it. The fact that she did not cave when he asked her, like, I think you're being calculated. She was like, I think I'm honoring the experiment. And she did
Yeah.
not like tell him what he wanted to know about her physicality of it. And I really, really like that as well. And I think she really like stands on her business of like, this is I'm I'm gonna do what is right for me, you
Yeah,
know. Mhm.
she very much has her boundaries firmly set in place,
Mhm.
and she's like, you can either walk the line or you cannot.
Yeah.
I You know what made me like fall for this couple was the fact that he's like, I'm willing to go to San Diego with you. And like with a moment when they were sitting among her friends, and her friend was having a vulnerable moment, and he was like being emotionally available for her friend as well, and
Mhm.
so mature, so attractive, and the way he was like looking at her, what telling her like, yeah, it doesn't matter where like you need to go, I'll go with you, I'm gonna follow you wherever you go, like,
Mhm. And
the
especially
support.
he does seem very supportive. He's like, I want you. I also am like, maybe he hasn't dated that much, so he's like, I've got just a goddess of a woman. So
That's
he just,
exactly how he should be.
which is very true. He is absolutely lucky to have Taylor, and I was like, you would be stupid if you would give her up, you know.
Right.
Um, and especially as someone I moved from San Diego to Colorado, and I was like,
Yeah.
go go there as much
Go
as
there.
possible. It is beautiful. And
Mhm.
especially when he has never lived outside of the DC metro area.
Yeah, he needs to get the hell out of there. First
Yeah.
of all, I was just there, much of it the hood. Unbelievable. So let's see what else. What else about them?
There was a little bit of drama.
Oh yeah,
Um,
let's talk about that drama because I feel like I might be on her side.
I am absolutely on her side. So the drama is that apparently an ex had reached out to him, maybe via DM,
Mhm.
and
It was
he
a text
a
message.
text message, and he had told her that he just liked it, and she felt that he left it very ambiguous. But then later, a couple of drinks are flowing, and they're talking
Yep,
to another couple, and then he says, "Oh, I wrote back and told her I was engaged," and she was just like, "That's not the story you told me."
that's news.
And you could tell where he kind of got caught or what have you. And I'm like, if he had been upfront with her right at the beginning
Why
and
didn't he just
said,
show her?
why don't you just show her, hey, I'm engaged. Like, I am being upfront with you. I know you've been cheated on in the past. There's nothing that you can read this text message. You can just say, like, I told her I'm engaged. I'm all about you. It could have been cut off at the pass.
Yeah,
But it was like and what got me about their argument, not when they were kind of working it out before they go into the party,
but at the
but
party.
at the party when he was like, agree to disagree, this is just semantics. And I was like, this is absolutely fucking not
It is
semantics.
not semantics.
And she was like,
This is you fucking up.
passively, yeah, passively like liking a message is not actively writing back. He's like, we'll agree to disagree. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not.
Those are two different things.
And that fact that it like put her into such a tailspin of like, you're not going to meet my family if I'm not 200% in. And I always say, especially in my relationship, like you put so much into your good bank
Yeah.
that I was like, yeah, like a little bump in the road. You're so much good invested in the relationship that
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like we could work. Is this work throughable or is it not? How much is in that bank of
Yeah.
investment in the relationship? Right. And
Yeah.
so I was
That's
like,
such a good way to put it.
yeah. And I thank you. And I think that he took so much out of his bank for her that
Yeah,
he,
I think so.
Mhm. Because
And I
you
also
could,
want to know what actually happened. Did he respond
it sounded
or
like he
did he not?
did. Yeah.
Did he
Because
make that up because he was drunk? Like, well, I want to know.
I think he just should have pulled out his phone and just absolutely been like,
I
here it is,
agree.
here's everything. Cause she's like, I did like, I'll trust you. Like to me personally, I will trust you until I don't. And because I've never been in a situation where there is cheating involved or anything. So it's like, I know I'm
Lucky.
coming from a very like,
Yeah.
privileged place in that as far as relationships go. But I'm also like, if you cross a line, I'm like, see you later, bye.
Yeah.
I'm not one to suffer fools lightly or for any length of time. So I think because like as far as right now, they're hanging in there and they are still my favorite couple. And again, if anyone's in a relationship, it's not that there will not be conflict, but I think
Yeah.
he thought it was just so nonchalant and how much it like deeply, truly hurt her, because she said we did not sleep last night. Like it
Yeah. The
really
next day
triggered these
before.
deep wounds. And it's like he needed to really take accountability for whether it was passively at semantics, whatever. He needs to fall on his sword on that, absolutely, because he was in the wrong, I feel. But 100% he needs to like worship the ground Taylor walks on because like
Yes.
she is absolute
Well,
like
she's out of his league.
yeah, absolutely. And the fact that those
Hugely.
Instagram
Bigly.
pictures, like he looks
Ooh.
like a male model
He
now. And
does now.
yeah. And I was
He
like,
does now. I love that hair on him, that longer shag. Absolutely.
absolutely.
My
Yes.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Fickle head of hair.
Yes. So
Ugh.
I because of those pictures, I don't think that's a post breakup glow up. I don't think he could have done that without her. She is so
No.
stylish. She is so gorgeous. She is so
So,
smart.
yeah.
She is
You think they got
so,
married?
yeah, absolutely.
I think they got married too.
I think that's a
But what
yes for
if
both of them at
okay,
the
so here's
altar.
the thing. My gut says they didn't get married, but they stayed together.
Well, isn't how the show works like they have to get married? They have to
If
go to
they
the
stay
altar.
together, they have to go to the altar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think on the my vote is that it's both a yes for both of them. Like they
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 got
be,
married.
they believe it, and I think they got married. Absolutely. Let me take a little sip of my whiskey now.
I'm excited to see.
I
I'm
love talking
excited.
about other people's cheese, May. So
Oh, me too.
mm,
Me too.
mhm.
So then we
Now,
have our next couple up, and we
mhm.
have so many thoughts because there is so much drama with this couple,
Okay.
Ashley and Tyler.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You want to
So
go?
Ashley and Tyler connect on their first date,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're like so nervous and whatever, but they end up really being attracted to one another once they actually see each other.
Yeah, when they're out of the
And
pods. Mhm.
yeah, she like really thinks he's so handsome. And she brags all the time about how they have great communication.
Yes.
But then
Mm-hmm.
the bomb drops.
Yes.
He's got three fucking kids
He
with
does.
a quote unquote friend.
Mhm.
So,
He said that he was a sperm donor
yes,
to his friend who is a lesbian, she's gay, and her
right.
wife, that obviously could not conceive on their own, so that he was a sperm donor to them. Which, and then I was like, to me, a sperm donor is like you donated your sperm
Yeah.
and you are not active in these children's lives, which on the Instagram, it sounds like it looks like he is, and he owes back child support.
Not only, okay, so let me tell you the entirety of this whole
Okay.
story,
Okay.
Rachel. Okay.
Okay.
So this is straight from the baby's mom's mouth.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She was married to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Him and her have known each other for a while. They can't afford IVF. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'll give you my sperm. This was apparently like a one and done situation. They did sleep together, but it was like one and done. She got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
When she got pregnant, or no, after she had the baby, the wife left and he became more involved.
Mm-hmm.
When he became more involved, they moved in with each other and then they got pregnant with the other two kids
Wow.
because they were living together. They were having the sex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He, after her wife left, she wanted him to get more involved or whatever. So he got on child support and he was able to exercise visitation rights, blah blah blah. And they developed a really, really, really close friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Then after he moved in everything, apparently that friendship got extremely close. The last time he saw his kids was literally the day before he went into filming. And he had the nerve to tell Ashley. Ashley's like, do these kids know what you look like? He said, I think so, or something like that. Like, it was really vague. Like, bitch, you know, these kids know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
So after the show started airing, the baby's mom's mom is who started like putting that out there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. Insane. So
And I know
here's
that
the
was,
thing.
oh yeah, go on.
They have really, really good communication skills with each other, except for he's a liar.
Yes,
But
she
from
does say
her
that that is their
perspective, they have good
superpower.
communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
Now, post and like we're gonna watch episode 12 and then tack on our reactions to who's married, who's not. But like what I've seen so far, her defense of him online, the way she's responding sounds like they're still together.
So so when he met her father and he's like, you got to have a woman that'll hold you down. It's always
Yeah.
like, how to have this woman to hold you down. It's like, and I think that her loyalty, and like, again, they would probably be my favorite couple if this hadn't come up.
If he wasn't a fucking liar.
Yeah, because he's like, I want to have a bunch of kids. I want to have this. And
Yeah. Oh
she
yeah, they were
really
my
had,
favorite until that came out.
yeah. And it's like, I think that she holds herself as like, yeah, I'm a good woman. Like everything that's like kind of the patriarchy tells you you should be.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a good woman. Shut the fuck up. You're just staying with a cheater. You're excusing a liar and a cheater.
And
He
someone to like,
lied about his
it,
own kids.
it
These
is
are
a lie
three.
through one, it was omitted. He did not say that in the
Yeah.
pause. And it's like, if
Yeah.
someone told me that they didn't tell me that they had three children, even by sperm donor, like that would be a big thing to be like engaged with. And then it's like, then you a life, and it's like, what's still coming out? Because he's like, I'm just a sperm donor. It's like, oh yeah, this is this. Oh yeah, this is this. What else are you going to breadcrumb her about?
Yeah.
What else? Or are you gonna, or is it gonna turn into a gaslighting situation to be like, I told you about that, baby. You just
Yeah.
forgot, kind of thing. So, and I think she was asking very legitimate questions of like, what if these kids do want to know you? There's pictures of you at Christmas. They do know you. So it's just
They
like,
know him already.
or did this is what he's like, okay, I've she is so gorgeous, got her on the hook. She loves me. And now it's too late,
Dude.
you know? So to be like, okay, you're just coming into, you're the stepmother of three kids now,
Ugh,
you know? So,
little ones.
but I really think it's like she has been kind of indoctrinated into this like misogynistic system of like, oh, are you a good woman? Yes, I'm a good woman. Are you going to hold me down? Yes. It's like, why isn't your man holding you down? Why
Yeah.
didn't he care enough about your feelings and your safety to be like, do I even want to like to have three kids with you? I'm like, you lied and like so it's like I liked Tyler's. I liked them so much until this came out. Like, and so I was just like, so I think at the altar, it will be a yes for both of them.
You think so? You think they're gonna
They're,
get married?
yeah, because she has like forgiving him or they're working through it. And he's like, whatever, I'll fight for you. I'll fight for you. I was like, to me, my guess is that it'll be a yes for both of them. They're going to do it.
That's a wild call.
10 toes down, they're going to go through with it because she would have been out by now.
Maybe. But she
hmm
calls him her castmate in the comments that
I
she's
think
making.
that might be um
Redirection.
I think that might be a requirement before the
Ah, yeah.
finale. hmm
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're right. Jesus. Oh God.
Yeah, so I think they're still under the watchful eye of production.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think they're going to go through with it because I think deep down they really do care about each other, but again, it's so much in your good bank and he took a lot out. To me, I'd be like more than Garrett withdrew in his relationship. Like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
But
don't
yeah,
know. See, I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know. I don't think so.
you don't think they're
Something,
gonna go through with it?
no, I don't think they're gonna go
What
through
is
with it.
that? Like what are your reservations about it?
I think I don't know why. That's just my gut feeling with
Mm-hmm.
those two. I don't think, and for some reason, I think he's gonna be the one to call it off.
I don't think
Like,
so. I think he's like, she's gorgeous and she's
yeah,
loyal. Like,
yeah,
mm-hmm. I
yeah,
think if they really make it a couple of years, like it might be if even if it's hard, they'll still they will fight for it longer than it needs to be happening. But again, like
yeah.
outside of that, I think it is a very good match. Like they're well matched. They seem to get along really
Personality
well.
wise,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
personality wise,
very,
yeah.
very well
hmm
matched. It's just
Yeah.
he wasn't forthcoming with his drama. And here's the thing, maybe if he was, she would still like maybe she wouldn't. I don't think she would have held it against him if he was forthcoming.
And that's the thing. Like if it's a small pebble of like, do I want to go through with this or not versus like it's a big deal. Like he knew he had to come out with it,
Yeah,
and that's why he did it because we only see the fallout of them talking about it. We don't see him do it on camera.
no,
And so I think he tried to get out of it from not doing it on camera because he could be a little bit more manipulative off camera, so you only see like how her ramifications of her dealing with it. So that is a little bit of more of a red
that's a
flag.
mystery. I wish, you know what? I didn't even really think about that. Like the
hmm
fact that they didn't show him telling her.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that is not shown on this series, and we could talk about that later, but
Yeah,
because I have thoughts about that too. But yeah, so like he didn't tell her on camera,
right.
so it's just that you only have the fallout of her of just like how big of a deal was this, and
And
now
you
we
know
have the
what?
hindsight of we know it's three kids, you're involved. It's not just you gave your batter and didn't sleep with this person,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know what I learned from last season is that producers will make the couples rehave the conversations
Yeah.
for the camera. Like we need you guys to be under the lights and actually rehab this conversation.
hmm
Um so That's gonna
And
be, first of all, that's gonna be so awkward to like sit and repeat what you said.
and okay, so going back to Garrett and Taylor, it's very much like they had the cameras there that morning when their costumes got delivered.
Yeah.
And he could have told her then, but he
Yeah.
told her an hour before this party, not on camera, you know? And I'm like, maybe you are trying to preserve true privacy in a very deep and important moment in your relationship?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to like get away with something because you cannot be held accountable anymore? Because you saw just how Garrett was like, it's semantics. It's like, it's not semantics, it is
It
action.
wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
it's like there isn't that to look at anymore because you can't roll back the tape,
Right.
you know.
I wish
But yeah,
I don't know. I think
Ashley and
he's
Tyler will get
pussy.
married, is what I say.
You okay, so you think yes for both couples that are,
Mhm.
these are the couples that are now left standing. We've got two ready to get married. It's less and less every fucking season, I swear to God.
Well, there was
Ev-
a lot of couples that came out of the pods, even so
Right.
many that not all of them went to Mexico.
Right. And let's talk about the two that didn't go to Mexico. Brittany
Absolutely.
and Leo made it out of the pods. They were part of a love triangle with Miss Hannah, who we're going to talk about next. But
I
Brittany, yo, oh my God, the Akko taco sandwich that occurred upon their meeting. Rachel, I am still getting the ick. I'm still getting secondhand ugh, from that entire interaction.
Mhm.
So,
I think he has so m little experience with women that he was just so
yes,
excited and all over her. And like, okay, so one, it would
gross.
have made great TV, but whether or not it's to bring another couple, like give them all the cameras. They're obviously all the drama, you know,
Yeah.
because she didn't even say that she loved him. I think she just wanted to
She wanted
like,
the art dealer. She said in her date with you just said his name. She called herself a trophy wife.
yeah.
She was the perfect person for Leo, who was an art dealer who just
Mm.
kept bragging about how he's got a lot of family money and he just didn't want any woman to be with him for his money when, bro, you need
Then act
women
like
to
you
be
don't
with
have
you.
any because I
First of
think that's
all,
why she attached to him because
yeah, he got exactly what he looked for.
had money. Yeah.
But here's the thing, bro. Here's the
Hmm.
thing. Maybe he should start wanting women who want him for his money because he's weird as fuck and awkward and ugh. Like he just seems like he has no experience interacting with women of in any kind of social surrounding. And I would have loved to see that in Mexico among the other women and Brittany, but apparently they just didn't choose this couple to go to Mexico.
Because I think, maybe this is like for the safety of Brittany involved. The producers were like, yo, like
Rachel,
they
they
just
stayed
called
together. They stayed together.
Louis. Yeah.
They went on a whole other trip together. They went on a
Hmm.
couple of dates, but then apparently like it
Well,
fizzled
I
out
guess if they said they broke up a couple weeks later, which is when people are getting married, so I think their relationship lasted as long as any of
as
the
long
other
as
couples
everybody
did,
else's. Yeah,
yeah. But it's like
exactly.
it was just so awkward that it's just like she didn't even tell him she loved him. She was just like, okay, yeah, like she got herself the richest guy there,
Yeah.
and he got himself the most trophiest woman there.
The trophiest wife of trophy wives.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they couldn't hold it together.
No, no.
He was the worst in the pods, though. I'm just going to say it. He was the fucking worst. He was dating Brittany and Hannah at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
then Hannah was like, I'm going to go with somebody else. And he lost it.
My whole point, maybe I suffer from a little bit of facial blindness, but at the beginning, it took me like 3 episodes until maybe they came out of the pods episode 4. But I was like, you're telling me that Nick and Leo are not the same person?
Yeah, they kind of looked
They look
alike.
exactly the fucking same to me. I'm like, I am looking at these two men and I'm like, I literally cannot tell them apart. But,
Yeah.
once one one got away, it was just
Yeah.
more of like, okay, now I know who this other person is, and now I'm invested in the story. But I was like, literally, they looked so much alike.
I don't
And I
know.
just couldn't.
I they're both they look like how do I nicely just worms, like earthworms. They both look like earthworms to me.
Yes. Okay, I'll give you the earthworm.
I think
I'll give you the earthworm. Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
earthworm is the most accurate description of
These
what
women are
both of these men look like to
these women
me.
are so gorgeous, and I'm like,
Gorgeous.
who are these men?
Who's casting this? But at the same time, like what men are going on a show like this? Like in my head, I'm like, I don't think any like really
There,
good.
I think this man was on episode one. You could see him kind of talking in like the men's quarters. I thought he
Yeah,
was so handsome, and I
really.
was like, no, his name was Raymond.
I
And
don't
he
even
was
remember
he was
him.
he was the Asian guy, and I was like, more of him,
Oh, that's
please.
right. We did love Raymond.
We did love
Raymond's
Raymond.
so hot. Shout
He
out
was
Raymond.
so hot. I was like, who is that man? Obviously, it didn't work
Who's
out for him,
that?
but I was like, Raymond, DM me. Like it was like
He's
he
handsome.
was a very handsome man, and I was like, too bad it didn't work out for Raymond, But yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, now I got to see these earthworms and not Raymond.
they are earthwormy.
Mm,
Yeah. So since we started talking about Hannah and Nick, let's just jump to Hannah and Nick.
okay. Mhm.
Hannah is she did medical device sales, but
She
quit
was
her job
she
to
quit her
go
job
on this
to go
show.
on the show. 26. She's the youngest one, little Southern Belle. Hmm.
Medical device sales, you make money
I
doing
think
that.
that's probably why she wasn't worried about like finding
Yeah.
another job, because she's like, if I don't work for a month, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's like that Gen Z kind of like, fuck it, like let's see what
I
happens. Let's
love
go
that
on the
about
trip.
them.
Let's book it. Let's go do the
Yeah.
thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then Nick is a former football player. He was a
Division one
kicker,
kicker.
which calm down. You're a kicker.
Hmm.
You're not a big football player. You're not Travis Kelsey.
And
But
he
he
said he
did
looked like
decide
him,
him he did describe himself as Travis Kelsey adjacent.
which he
How
is.
dare
Hannah's big thing was Nick was Delulu, and I was like, she's not wrong.
no, she's not wrong. She was
Mm-mm.
expecting like she's kind of a taller girl
Yeah.
and she was expecting a football player like a
Hmm.
large man and he was like the kicker.
Yeah, and
The
I
kicker.
I have so many thoughts on their whole relationship. I know Hannah's getting a lot of hate online right now, and I will just say she is not going to get it from me.
I
I'm
know
not
you were
I am
like
not going to hate on
absolutely
Hannah. Absolutely not.
yes. He was kind of full blown
Nick was a man baby.
yeah.
He had weaponized incompetence. He has
The
weaponized
weaponized
helplessness.
incompetence was
And I
insane.
think when she's having her financial talk with him of just like, are you going to go on my, like, these are very important conversations to have. And we
Very.
are seeing just a very small snippet of it. And she is asking the right questions. And
Yeah.
money is important. How are we going to how are we going to combine our finances? Are your parents still going to pay for stuff? Where are we going to live after we get out of this apartment? What is going on? And he does not want to answer these questions. He
He
does not,
doesn't have answers for it. It's not that he
he does,
doesn't want to.
he
It's
doesn't
that
have
his
answers.
mom isn't there to tell him what the answers are.
And my point of all of this is that like she gets a lot of flack, but I was like, we see a fraction of of all of their interactions together. And I bet she's very frustrated. And it's like these resentments that start to build. And I think they just start coming out of her because she's like fed up with it because she realized
Well,
this is not the person he said he can cook. He literally doesn't even know how to boil water. He doesn't know
oh
where
my
pasta is
God. The
kept.
scene
And
of
so
him
the fact
trying to boil water
what do I
literally
do? What do I do?
infuriating.
And so he just questions her to the nth degree until she's like, I'll do it. Which is like, so I think she is just really over it.
Yeah,
And
because
that comes
he
out of
doesn't end
her.
up being who he said I can't talk.
Exactly. Hmm.
Who he said he was.
Yes. And I think that tried her. And she was just like, if he was the man that he said he would, I think she would have been totally like, oh my God, yes, baby. If like
Yes,
6'5"
daddy.
Travis, handsome Kelsey came out of
Mhm.
those doors, she would have been like, whatever you want. But one, she
Yeah.
does talk about what she wants in the bedroom and that he doesn't do it. He
Yes.
doesn't try to satisfy her. He just does what she wants. And the fact that then he's
Whatever
intimidated
he
of her
wants.
vibrator. A real man is not intimidated of her vibrator. A real
That's
man is like,
wild.
yes, baby, let me do that for you. Your pleasure is
Yes.
as important as mine, and let's work it out together. He doesn't want to focus on that. He doesn't do any of this. And so people are like, oh, Hannah could say what she wanted to say, but she didn't have to be so mean about it. I was like, I'm sure she tried not to. But again,
Honestly,
she does not have to coddle this man
I
who
don't think that
is
she
a
was mean.
child.
I don't think she was mean. I think
I
she
think
was
she
just
was.
upfront and blunt. And men
Mhm.
hate that.
Yes. Yes. And it's like, why? This man has been coddled his entire life, and you see his dad too. Like, you need someone to push you. She is. She absolutely is. And
Push
then,
your fucking self down the stairs.
yeah. And then at before the flapper party, he was like, oh, I'd like some closure with Katie. And then afterwards, he's like, I didn't say I wanted closure with Katie, motherfucker. And he's smirking at her.
Yeah, we all
Like,
heard you say that
mhm.
actually. And
So,
when here's the thing, I think she should have just let that go. I think that
mhm.
she wasn't in the right state of mind to start talking about that. I think she
Mhm.
needed to be more clear-eyed to
Yeah.
start talking about that because I also think that she needed to bring it up. I just think when she brought it up and how she brought it up was the wrong move.
Yeah.
I also don't think it was cool for her to say that about somebody who she keeps calling her best friend in the whole wide world.
After 3 weeks.
Also, why do you think that she's your best friend in the whole wide world? You've known her for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That part was wild to me. She kept calling her that, and I was like, red flag.
Well, in my
You
life,
can be
best
besties.
friends is a tier,
That's a
not a
tier, but like she's saying it like they grew up together or some shit like
yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
you don't know
Um,
her. You
yeah,
don't know her or her loyalties.
to me, I'm on Hannah's side about this. I'm like, go girl, proud of you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like she
Yeah.
deserved better than Nick. And Nick acts like he wants a strong, badass woman, but he wants a pushover. So he doesn't want to grow.
He wants somebody who's just gonna mommy
Or he's
him.
just gonna do it for him.
Yeah.
Like again, back to Garrett and Taylor. I think he met her where she's at and
Yeah.
he grew with her.
Right.
And he was ready to grow
Mm-hmm.
into this relationship. And I think Nick just wanted everything done for him.
He wants a mommy.
Hmm. That
That's
you're,
what they always want.
yeah. So he wants yeah, he just wants a fuckable mommy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
So those
enough
are,
about that.
so I know
We
they
got
did,
three other couples to get to that have so much fucking cheese, mate. It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
they broke up and I was happy for it because
I was happy for her.
I think Nick would have sauld yes he would have taken it the whole way
Oh,
because he's just like,
absolutely.
he's an okay guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. He would have
Exactly.
he would have said yes, she would have said no. That would have been my prediction if they went it the
If
whole
they
way.
made it all the way.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I kind of wish they would just do it, just to do it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Just go.
Make the reality show drums. Like I would.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would rage. I would play it out. I
Mhm.
would just absolutely make it so dramatic. They should let me on that show. I should apply for that show.
I know. You're right. Well, they already did in the geographical area where you are, maybe, but
I know that would have been good.
Love is
Okay, so
Blind Denver.
yeah, exactly. So next. Let's talk about Alexandra and Tim. They got together because they found out that they were a Leo and a Virgo. And that made them compatible, which we love. We love when they commit over star signs. But they also had a lot of like compatibility connections because they
Mhm.
just are family oriented and um pr- prayer oriented, and they're very like they were very sweet right at the beginning. And when he met her family, it really seemed like this was a this was gonna happen.
Mhm.
He asked her dad for his hand for her hand in marriage, all of that jazz. But then there was like one time prior to that when they got into like an argument and you we see him coming back,
Again, not on camera.
not on camera. We just see him coming back. And
Hmm.
then it seems like everything's smoothed over and then meet the family. And then all of this sudden, he's just like, I'm done. It felt
I
like a slamming door. I was like so confused. So confused. I was like, but I don't know whose side, like, I don't know if there's a side to choose at this point.
the, there isn't, and there isn't always. Doesn't always have to be that way.
Yeah.
So I think that Tim is a covert narcissist. I think he built a bond with her by trauma dumping to
Mhm.
like lure her in. And then she's like, I want to be more cuddly. I want to like have connection with you. And he's like, well, that's just not me.
Mhm.
Yet he, when they were having their breakup argument, he's like, you need to meet me these ways. You need to go do this. And she's like, okay, how I want to be perfect for you. How can I? And
Mhm.
then he's like, it doesn't matter if you are perfect. Like, I never want to see your face again. And then just walks out.
And just walks out.
It's like he wants her to be so communicative, but he will not give an inch in her direction. And like you could tell, I think there was like not these little digs, but these little comments when they're like, these are both of her sinks. She's like, well, you could just have this sink, you know? So it's just like, I don't think they were a good match.
I don't
Um,
think they were a good match.
but you know, and plus she was like really messy, but I think he would have like gas. It's like when you back someone into a corner and then like become the victim because they lash out at you because they're like bleeding out from death from 1,000 cuts from this person, you
Yeah.
know, where he's like, oh, she's like, do not propose. Ask my dad for your hand in
Yeah. Don't
marriage.
ask.
He is very ill unless you mean it. And she's like, 48 hours ago. And she's like, and he was like, you took a nap with my family. She's like, I get tired. I napped for an hour. I just spent 4 hours with your family. If that's not okay, you could have come into the room and spoken to her, you know, or just had a thing instead of like, this is the thing
This
that breaks
girl
you guys
really
up.
go
He
did
had
she,
something. I think it was like he was just making excuses because he did not want to be with her, and it's like
oh
nothing
yeah.
she could have done could have like made it
Oh
okay.
no, not at all. But also she took a nap at his house? At his parents'
When
house?
his parents were visiting, and then it was like that was the most horrible thing she could have done. But again, in her defense, she was like, I just spent 4 hours entertaining your parents and I laid down for an hour. Like, it's
It's
not like she said hi and then just slept the whole time.
yeah,
That wasn't it.
it's still weird.
Again, there could be underlying medical issues. We don't know.
That's
They
true.
didn't really get into it, you know?
That's true.
So again, but I mean, these people have to live together. And so I know when we get to Marissa, like she has like a 2 hour commute and it's really draining on her and things like
Yeah.
that. So it's like we don't truly know the full scope of what the transition of their lives have been, you
Yeah.
know? And so it's like maybe she's just like, hey, let me recharge my batteries and I can come out for another 4 hours. But I'm
Yeah.
sure doing on this whole show and meeting your future in-laws
Is
is
exhausting.
really exhausting and just be like, I need to like take a moment for myself, you know, whether
Yeah.
she napped or laid down or just maybe she's an introvert and was like, the cameras, everything here was just a lot and I needed just like some quiet space,
Yeah.
you know, like who know an hour just to say like I just need an hour is not too much, but it's just like they drove 10 hours to be here. And it's like, well, they're obviously staying here or in a hotel because you're not going to drive 10 hours back, you
Yeah.
know? And so it's just like to learn how to communicate with what each other needs, like even in the moment is very important. And I don't think they could do that because you could see them really talking about stuff after the fact.
I
And
just I didn't think they
yeah,
had right out the gate, like right in the first meeting. I didn't think they had chemistry.
you could tell no because he handed her the ring to put on her own finger. And I was like, absolutely not.
And
Like, and
he kept saying weird shit and it was annoying.
and what gets me is he's like, I'm not cuddly. And it's like, okay, so you only want to fuck your wife. You don't want to be near her. You don't like, in my marriage, my husband pawed at me a lot, which it was
Yeah.
just really like, I want to be touched non-sexually. So I want to then touch you like all the sexually, you know,
Yeah.
because it's just like, is that all you want? Is that the only way you literally will touch me?
Yeah.
You can't even hug me. You can't sit next to me on the couch. You can't hold my hand. She's not asking for too much.
Yeah. She's not. I just don't think he liked her
I don't
from
think
the
so
go.
either. hmm Yeah.
From the first, like, I'm sure he liked her in the pods,
Yeah.
but I don't think he liked her from from seeing her. I don't think he was attracted to her. He never really acted like he was. That's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. A thousand
And like
percent.
he's always trying to start some shit.
And when they broke up, he could have been like, we're not fairly matched, and that's okay. And I don't think we should get married. And like, I wish nothing for the best for you. But he's like, and I never want to see you again.
Literally
And
so
just walked out. I
mean.
was just like, she didn't deserve that.
Like, no, like she's sitting there just so confused.
Yeah. Like 2 days ago, we were fine.
Mhm.
hmm So I,
I
I
hate
think
that feeling, that like feeling of just a couple hours ago everything was fine. Now everything is different.
because
I hate that feeling.
I really feel like when she went into this conversation was like, okay, there's things to work out, but they are workoutable.
Yeah.
And he was like,
And he
there's
was like, "You
nothing
took
you
a
could
nap.
say.
Go fuck
He's like,
yourself in your nap."
he's like, there's nothing I can come back from that. Like it was unforgivable. I was like,
Yeah.
there's something else going on that he has not expressed.
He's got a he's got another girl. I'm sure. He just wasn't
But
attracted to her, period.
I hope he got his sister's necklace back,
Oh,
bracelet
that's
back.
right. That's right. He
Yeah.
did. He did give her the bracelet and
And I,
he didn't have any sisters, right? And then he
yeah,
gave
they
her
had
the
both passed.
jewelry.
I
So
think
sad.
he built a false sense of intimacy from the beginning.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they had taken it to the end, I would have been like, it would have been a no for both of them.
No. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And
hmm
on that note, let's talk about um Monica and Steven.
Yes, Monica.
Monica and
Steven.
Steven. They they were each other's number ones, I think, really, really, really quickly. I think they formed a bond really quickly. He was just so charming and so sweet in the pods, and he really
hmm
opened up to her, and um she was really drawn to him. I remember this one scene where he like reveals that he learned he was like a lot black, like a lot. And like, bro is an actual black white man.
When I first saw him, I was like, oh, he's mixed.
Oh, immediately knew he was mixed.
Yeah, like he is. I mean, when he said, I identify as a white man, I'm like, yeah, of course, your skin is white. But I was like,
Yeah.
your curly hair, like I was like, yeah, like when he was
That's
like,
a
oh,
black
I'm
man's
mixed.
face. He's got a
Yes.
black man's face and white
hmm
skin.
Yeah. So when
He's, and don't get me wrong, so handsome.
he's very handsome, just very burly. Like,
But
yeah,
the more I get to know him, the less handsome he gets. Let's be very honest.
that's very
Handsome
true.
first take, but then the more you get to know him, the more you his personality comes out, the more you're like, ew,
Yeah. Yeah.
ew.
Like he just I don't know. It's like the longer you let people talk, the more they'll tell you everything. When he was just like, oh, you can just come into the house and jump my bones. I was like, that's because you just want to jump her bones and you don't really give a shit about what she has to say. How was her
Yeah.
day? Blah, blah, blah.
And he doesn't shut the fuck up. He like talks and
hmm
talks and talks, and
And
she can never say anything.
hmm
Like he talks, he just doesn't shut the fuck up.
the edit in Mexico where she was like,
Oh
babe,
my
can
God.
you just be quiet? And then it just goes to her eating and she's quiet. And I'm like, that's maybe she just needs a moment just to be like, okay, it's quiet.
Yeah, maybe he's overstimulating because he doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And it's a lot of word salad.
It is. None of it really makes sense. Like he just keeps talking about how he's so happy and they're so lucky and blah blah blah. And it to be honest, like I've had a significant other who did that and it
Mhm.
was so fucking annoying after a while. Like it was just like, yeah, I know you've said that a million fucking times. Shut up about it.
Maybe
Because
when
I,
they're
I don't feel that. The more you talk about it, the less I feel that way.
Yeah, maybe that would come in very helpful when you're really old and all you have is shit to talk. Like, okay, well, they'll
Yeah.
never be bored. They'll just talk. And like, I don't have to keep them company. They'll just talk, you know, that's fine.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think Monica gave him so much grace
I
because
think
she was
so.
so beautiful, such rockin'. She was so hot. And then she's like, she would tell him what she needed. Like, come watch the fireworks with me. He didn't give a shit. Like that conversation could have put a pin in and like they could have both been out with their girls. Like they're in this romantic getaway. They like
Yeah.
and she's like, I want flowers. Like it's important to do. It doesn't have to,
To
it
get
could be a
flowers.
YSL clutch, no big deal. But
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, I took her to a flower shop and we like pressed flowers." I was like, "You're still doing something together. You are not doing an act of service for her."
Yeah.
She had, and then this is what I think would happen. He would bring her grocery store flowers, and then he would make her put them in a vase himself.
Yeah. That's
Herself.
just giving us work to
That's
do. They
that
don't
you are not giving
understand
her a
that.
gift, you're giving her a task. If you bring the flowers home, put them in the vase and just say,
It's
"These
not
are for
even
you."
it's not even a hard thing to do. It takes 5 seconds.
And then he loses his job. Okay, that happens. I lost my job too. But she was like, "No worries, babe, I got you." And then you could tell there was these like red flags where she's kind of like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then it was like you could see her just like bury them really deep down
Yeah.
and really just like move forward with
Yeah.
And so, but
Yeah.
I'm like, you could tell in like Mexico, I'm like, it's
I
not.
immediately, as soon as
Mhm.
she told him to stop talking, I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
This
not
is
gonna work.
not going to work. And then the text messages.
Yep.
So there was, so all of the couples live in the same apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
right? And earlier in the day, they had gotten together, and one of the couples was going to make like banana bread or something like that for the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
couples.
Mm-hmm.
So she had been expecting they had been texting about it. So they had been expecting for them to text them like when everything was ready.
Mm-hmm.
His phone goes off while he's in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
She picks it up to go like see if it's them. Like, oh, this must be them. They must be, whatever. She opens the phone and there are a nasty text messages between him and some other woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
apparently, the night before, he had been at a sleep study.
Mm-hmm.
This is weird timing for all of this, but he had been at a sleep study. The text message chain, Jesus, was from that night. He
Mm-hmm.
was just in the sleep study texting this woman, and he was, Rachel, you told me some things before the show that I had not heard yet. What
Mm-hmm.
what were these text messages about, Rachel?
And here we go. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, and we are very sex positive on this show.
I
I want to
love
just
that phrase.
We're very sex positive. We're about it. But
Yeah.
again, he is engaged
Yeah.
and he is texting sexually explicit messages to another woman. That is
Not
not
just
okay.
any. Not just any.
Yeah. So he was saying something along the lines of, to the effects of, like, no one can satisfy my kinks the way you can. So he'd obviously have had this like experience or relationship with this woman
Before.
beforehand. And so he likes the anal play. And
For
he and I and he
himself.
likes to be pegged. And obviously, if you listen back to the sex episode, like let the power of pegging compel you. Yes, do it.
Absolutely. We support
Absolutely.
it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what gets me is one, like what goes on between consenting adults is one thing. Monica was not consenting into this part of the relationship. And she
Right.
thought that her fiance is totally hers. And so that is cheating. Absolutely. And she knew because he had admitted that he had been sliding in with intention to someone else's DMs. Absolutely. Okay. Like she forgave him for that. No worries. Like the amount of grace this woman gave this man, he did not deserve.
So much. She was so
But
far out of his league.
what gets me is that she was like, I need more connection from you so I can have more sex with you. I'm the same way. Absolutely. That really resonated with me where she's like, I
Yeah.
want to feel close to you so we can physically like be close together.
Yeah.
But then she like stood on her business and was like, you're quote unquote slipping too much because he's trying to have anal sex with her without her consent.
See, that part I didn't hear. Did that happen on the show?
That
Did
happened
she
on the
say that?
show. Yeah, that's what I picked up from that conversation. So she's
She
like,
said you're slipping too much?
like when you're in the moment,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
you
know
might hit the
exactly
wrong
what you
thing.
mean, but when did
Yeah.
that I don't even remember. Ugh.
Yeah, so that was obviously before they like broke up, but she was just having this thing of like, to trust your body sexually with somebody that they
Yeah,
aren't going to try and quote slip something in that you
yeah,
do not want. And she says, I'm saving my butt for my husband. And
yeah,
that literally was like, once we get married, we can go and try these things together.
yeah.
But maybe Steven just felt like, hey, I don't deserve her and I'm going to self-sabotage, whatever.
That part, I think
Or
that's
like,
what it
or he
was.
could throw it back on her, like, you knew I'm like this, XYZ. But yeah, so I was just like, I think that my heart of hearts, this is just me. I was like, this man is gay. He will not admit that he's gay. So he likes to have sex with women's bodies, but he likes hanging out with his bros.
I
That's what I think.
love and agree with that assessment.
Hmm. And again, like if someone just likes to be pegged, we're about it. I'll do it. So Raymond, call me. But it's like, but it's just one of those things where it's just like you're not making space and making your partner, who you have proposed to, feel
Yeah.
safe to meet you there. You're just trying to do it to her.
Yeah.
Like that's not two people consenting. That's one person like that's coercion, I feel. Because
It's
he's pushing boundaries to see what he can get away with, and she wasn't having it. And the piece de resistance is when she made him Venmo her before
oh
he
my
left,
God.
and
When
he
she
did
said
it, and I was like, oh my God,
open,
like
she said,
PQs.
open your phone and Venmo me right now for the time I took to carry this relationship on my
She
back.
is a better woman than I would have been.
I
I'm
actually
Mhm.
I used it immediately. I used that line immediately
Yes. Yes.
in real life. I showed you. I showed you. It was so
What
inspiring. I could never. What a queen.
what got me was at the flapper party, they said that she's like, "Oh, I had a 2-hour conversation with him." Like the line that should have been used from this show was, "I'm gonna leave and I never want to see your face again." Is
Sure.
the one that Tim used on Alex. She should have used that on Steven.
Yeah.
Was it. So I think again, she gave him too much grace. She should have never had that 2-hour conversation before. You don't need closure. But
No.
I'm glad someone asked, "Are you guys going to get back together?" And she said no. And I was like, "Good for her. Good for
Hell
her."
no.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
He did not
no.
deserve her. Absolutely not. Hmm.
So
Last couple.
the last couple and this couple, at first I was really hopeful for them. I thought they had so much chemistry. Marissa and Ramses. Now, Marissa is a Navy veteran, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
But Ramses has these motherfucking Padawan uh ponytails
Yeah.
coming out the side of his fucking head and
Mm-hmm.
hates the military. But
Mm-hmm.
he's tall and good looking.
Yeah.
So ish, good looking ish.
This
I don't know.
go on.
But no, I'm just saying they had a ton of chemistry, a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost seemed like after they met, after Mexico specifically, he was able to let down the bullshit facade that he
Mm-hmm.
had put up in the pods to win her over.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because at first he was fine with her being in the military. And then they started talking about it. And like she's so relatable. Like, do I regret being in the military? No. Did my service contribute to some shit that like I wish it didn't contribute to? Yes. But I'll never regret my time because it changes who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you into the person you are
Yes.
serving. And at first he was totally chill with it. And then he gets out and he's like, well, you're a murderer.
I found this relationship to be so triggering.
Really?
It was very, very challenging because I loved her so much. And I
Yeah.
think, and I have very complicated feelings about the military as well. I have a
Yeah.
military family. I'm a former military spouse, especially in the Navy. Like what she was saying, I was like, does the Navy guys think does the military fuck you up? Absolutely. Does the VA need to do more for all of those people? Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I have a very complex feelings about the military.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what she was saying, I was like, I'm not a veteran myself, but I really see where she's coming from. I see the benefits of being in the military. But again, what I also think Ramses is doing is weaponized therapy talk.
Yes.
And I think
It's crazy.
that he is acting like a feminist. And yes, of course, you have your bodily autonomy, you have everything until it comes to what he wants.
Right.
And he's like, and what got me was that Marissa wanted it so badly, so, so badly that it was because you could see that there is an end to their disagreements, but there is no way forward. Because when it
Right.
came to the birth control talk, she was like, we can either have kids when it happens. I'm not going to go on birth control. I don't like the way it feels. Like I have medical issues,
Right.
but she does not have to.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, it really messes with your hormones, doesn't it? Like, and she was like, yes, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, so what are we going to do? And she's like, we can have condom
Have
sex, which
sex.
condom sex is fine.
Hmm.
Why is everybody against condom sex?
Well, I'm not against condom sex, but
Not
it's like,
you, but like
but
what
like
in this?
when she's like, yeah, I've had very enjoyable sex on condom sex. Absolutely. I've been her too, but it was just like, but he's like, well, it has to be pleasurable for both of us. So go damage your body so I can go get off, you know? And I'm like, honestly, there's a lot you can do without penetration, sir.
Yeah, sir.
And so he's just like, but then they're like, okay, so she's like, okay, so we're just gonna accept the consequences. He's like, well, it's like they just trail off.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't like that she was in the military, but I'll just like accept it because I love her. It's like he just talks out of both sides of his mouth all the time. And I was like, he is just stringing her along. And then this last episode, he's like, I'm just thinking about how much the divorce really hurt my ex-wife. And I don't want to. It's like, if they were going to go down, if they were going to meet at the altar, she would have said yes. He would have said no. To me, I was like, this is Clay and AD from last episode where she's in it, 10 toes.
Yes.
You could just see it. She wants to work it out, but he just
Yeah.
keeps like, he just is talking around in circles, which is
That
confusing her.
the scene of them in the kitchen where he's like, oh, I need to be touched and blah blah blah, and it's not going to be a problem if you don't want to be touched all the time, but and then she's like, but is it? And he's like, no, and she's like, okay, and then he like goes and like crowds her and like it
To
was so fucking annoying.
to finish that conversation, he just like gives her this big hug when she was just like, I have a vitamin D deficiency. Same girl. And she's
Yeah.
just like, I feel really gross on my period. Thank God she has one.
Yeah.
And it's like, get her a hot pad, rub her feet. She is driving 4 hours a day, commuting, trying to be on the show, trying to be everything for you, trying to do all these things.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, that's not going to work for me. Or when that was a very valid question she asked when a majority of men in a long-term relationship or after a baby, if they do not have sex, they go out and find things, or they'll leave their long-term partner if there is um an illness, which I've had
Yeah.
this exact conversation with my partner, with Deadpool. We've had this conversation
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
matters because we are pushing midlife now.
Yeah.
And it like it happens when you get older. So and he's like, yeah, no, no, yeah, I'm gonna be there for you, but I know you're sick. Or but what do you mean I can't have sex with you 1 month, 1 day, 1 week a month? And so it's just really like, I hate when men really make it all the woman's issues and it's all their fault. You don't want to go on birth control, blah blah blah. She is like, okay, we want to have kids. I'm like, do not have children with this man.
Do
He will
not have
derail your entire
children
career.
with this
Do not
man.
do it. But he did. I think he found a bullshit reason to break up with her.
Yeah, I don't think he.
I
Anyways,
don't think he
I'm
was ready
glad for
to get
her.
married
No,
in the long
first of
term.
all, you have two fucking ponytails. You're not ready to get married. Grow the fuck up.
He needs to grow up, absolutely. In a different way than Nick D does, but
Yeah,
absolutely like it is he did her an absolute fucking favor.
absolutely.
And I think he should
Yeah,
have
I
done
think
it
she probably would
much
have said
sooner.
yes.
But
I think
once I saw Bowden at the flapper party, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if she reached out to Bowden when she was ready.
I
I
hope
hope her and
so.
Bowden have gone out on a date. I want that to happen in the reunion.
He's so handsome.
He's so handsome.
He's so
Mhm.
much more handsome than
He would have
Ramsey.
been, I think they would have been that very cute, boring couple of like they're so giggly and just so in love with each other. I think it would have been wonderful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all of them.
Yeah. Prediction if
That's
they went
all
to
of
the
them.
altar, she would have said yes, he would have said no. So,
Yeah, I agree with that one actually. I
hmm.
do. And then our two couples, you think yes for both. I think one
Yeah, Taylor and Garrett is a double yes. And
yes
then
for me.
yeah, and then Tyler and forget her name.
Oh God, what's a damn name?
Sorry.
There's always so many freaking people on this damn show. So we got Taylor and Garrett, Ashley and Tyler. My
Ashley and
bad.
Tyler, that's a double yes for me.
I don't think they're gonna get married. I don't think they're gonna get
I
married.
look
But
forward
I
to the
think
bottle
Taylor
of
and
whiskey
Garrett.
you'll have to send my way.
Woo! So we're gonna check. We're gonna go. We're gonna break from this episode right now,
Hmm.
and then we're gonna go watch the show, and then we're gonna come back in the morning with our reactions to the wedding episode. But I mean, I think that's the whiskey bent portion.
Absolutely, it is. Oh, Jackie, it is now the next day. Oh, magic time jump. So,
Magic time jump.
magic
Holy
time jump.
fuck.
We just did our predictions for Love is Blind.
Yeah.
And now we've watched the last show, the wedding shows. And
Yeah.
now it is the next morning. It is bright and early where I am. It's not even 8 a.m. yet. But we are
Oh my God.
here giving our
Are you okay?
real-time reactions. We all know Rachel is not an early bird. I'm a mid-afternoon sparrow at best. So
Oh, for sure. Meanwhile, I get up at 7 a.m. and I'm like, toast, 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 toast. Let's get the day. I'm like the most annoying. More as soon as the coffee touches my lips, I become the most annoying human being on the planet. I
you're,
don't know what it is.
yeah.
I'm
So I
excited
just
for
want
the
to
day.
say how much I love you, how much I love our listeners, how much I love this podcast with you, because like I got a little sleep in my like I rolled out of bed, walked the dog, made a cup of coffee, and like I'm here for it. But in true whiskey bent spellbound fashion, I think these are Irish coffees in the morning.
Don't worry about it. Nobody worry about it.
Don't worry about it. But let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's talk
My
about it. First of
my
all, Rachel was 100% right.
100%
100%.
two for
So let's
two.
talk about the couple that I did not think was going to get married. Tyler and Brittany. No,
Ashley.
Ashley, my bad.
It's
Anyways,
okay. Yeah.
Tyler and Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
So she said something during the vows where I was like, "Oh, he told her the whole story off camera."
Good.
I feel like I can't remember what it is. Like, I can't remember what she said, but I
Mm-hmm.
had this immediate thought that, oh, okay, they had it. That whole conversation that we saw was the second hashing out. Like the producers were like, we need you to have this conversation
On
on the
camera.
couch, not in your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably where everybody's having these hard conversations. I don't think they're allowed in the bedroom because the only time I see their bedroom is when it's open and they're filming from outside, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I personally, she said something about like not putting each other's past in their relationship and just accepting them wholeheartedly where like something about accepting him where he's at right now,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me think that he told her the entire story,
Mm-hmm.
his version of it,
Yeah.
before they got married, and I think that makes more sense in my head.
I think Tyler and Ashley were supposed to be like the it couple.
Really?
until this came out. Like they got a really good edit, I feel. And
Yeah.
so I really think that they were supposed to be like the like the steady, cool it couple until
Yeah.
this like drama came out, but they still had
Yeah.
such a good edit. But it's like they really didn't turn him into a villain at all.
They didn't.
Mm-mm. So it's like I again, man, they did a good edit. I don't like if she wants to move forward. And again, I think she's just been like really conditioned her whole life to be like, I'm a real one. I'm a ride or die. I'm gonna hold you down. Blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
is he?
It's
But I'm like,
very
is
much
he
like
gonna
that
hold her
too.
down? But again, like, I love to see a man cry. No matter
Me
how he
too.
cries, I love to see a man cry. You know.
I do too.
So from heartbreak or love, I just love seeing men cry. And so I want them to be so involved and connected to their emotions that they're willing.
Yeah, I know. I know
You
what you
know,
mean by
so
that, but like when I say it, it sounds like I just love to make them cry. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
to see him.
I know.
Like Rachel, I love to see a man cry.
Yeah, exactly. This is why you're black and white field. Like so
It's too much.
yeah, so Deadpool came over last night for dinner and then
Yeah.
we watched this show together. So I was
Love.
really bringing him up to speed on everything. I got to throw down on the cheese may like
Oh
diet
my God.
style, like
Was
quick,
he
quick,
like,
quick.
nah?
He it was really funny because when he had like really no idea, but then when I was like kind of I'm like, oh, this is what happens. He's like, oh, that's that couple. It's kind of when you're
Oh,
like
yes. I
dishing the
love it.
goss on like work,
I
like
love when men get into the reality show goss so much because they have such funny takes.
yeah,
And like every single time it's just like, will you go straight to jail, man?
he's so funny. He was so anxious. If
During the I do's.
yes, because they do this like hard pause.
Yeah, they do. They
And
do. It's
he's
like a
not
full 30
invested.
seconds.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
not invested, but he's like, but I'm like, they can say no. And I went into like Clay and AD last year
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
last season. And so I was like,
There's
they
been
can say no.
multiple who have said no at the altar.
I've only seen this 2 seasons,
Oh,
but I was like, they can. And you can see all the parents kind of like the trepidation because it is within recent memory that it has happened. So
yeah.
he's just kind of anxious. And I was like, I believe in me. I believe in my predictions. I was like, they're gonna get married. Like I had no anxiety. I was like, they're in. They're in.
Okay. Speaking of the parents,
Okay.
okay.
Mhm.
Ashley's dad is a very beautiful man. I have a crush on him.
That
But
does
then
not
also,
surprise me.
but then, God, he's such a distinguished older gentleman. Anyways,
That
so
man is a dog.
I know
They and you could here's me. This is what
I
I
have a
clocked
red flag. What do you mean?
because
And
they
here's how I knew. I know. Here's how how I know that man is a dog is how her mother snatched up her daughter out of his grasp, and then when the pastor guy, the
Mhm.
person, the officiant,
Mhm.
was asking who gives this woman to
Mhm.
be wed. Her mother goes, her mother does.
That's
Not
exactly
not this man
not
over
our
there.
family.
Not him.
Mother.
Her mother. She
I'm
snatched
about
her up
it.
out of his hand so quick. Like, yeah, you got halfway. I'm giving her away. You
Yeah.
ain't do shit.
My mom walked me down the aisle. I was about it. Like, yeah.
I've
But
never been walked down the aisle.
so,
3 marriages, zero. I've had one wedding and it was I no.
so this is what I clocked when I think they kind of have to have like this little heart to heart before they walk down the aisle to like make
Yeah,
TV.
it's
And
time.
I think they have repaired their relationship maybe on like a medium surface level. I mean, again,
Sure.
this is just all speculation on my part, but he's trying to be all sentimental and she is like
Yeah.
she's her it's vacant behind her eyes. Like she's
He's
just
like that whenever life gets hard, blah 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 blah. And he's like, that's what I always do. And like he said something like, oh yeah, he said
I
something
wish
like
I would have
always
stayed.
he said, oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear him
Mhm.
say that. I heard him say, like, whenever times get hard, just think about the good times, just like look for
Mhm.
the good times, just always try to stay positive. That's what I did my whole life. And she was like,
You know when you
mm-hmm.
can when you're just like I'm not taking advice from you.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was just like, she's just like she's accepting and she's tolerating what is happening right now. But I was like,
Yeah.
she is not like she's not clocking this as far as like actual things to like abide by and to
Yeah, to
accept.
listen
But
to.
yeah, so when they walked down, she was just always just so gorgeous. And like Tyler, I don't I don't question their feelings for one another.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
But also I want to know the whole and true story of what happened between
How
him
much
and his
she knows
baby's mom
and how much is she
and
accepting
how
this
much Ashley knew.
ride or die. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really juicy. I love that. But let's get to the what. First of all, hold on. I actually need to rewind because in that episode is when Ramses
Mm-hmm.
and what's her name?
Marissa.
Marissa break up right at the beginning of the
Right at the
episode.
beginning. Okay,
That
let's
was
talk about that
traumatic.
and then we can get into Taylor and Garrett's wedding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was so hard. The very, very, very beginning of this episode is Marissa and Ramses, which I was like, they won't do it, or he will say no at the altar. They will not go through with it, is my
Yeah.
prediction. So, like, her just sobbing in real time. Like I that's the only time I got really like emotional in the
Yeah.
episode. And like, cause I think you text me that you were like crying at the wedding scenes,
Sobbing.
but I
But
was
for them
just
to start
like,
it out with that kind of breakup, like that kind of breakup, I have been right where she is.
oh, I think we
That
all have. Yeah.
I think we all have. It was so relatable. And she's
I
getting
love her.
heat over it.
I love her so much. So she came up in my TikTok algorithm and she was
Yeah.
just like, looking back on it, what would have you done in that moment? And she said, like, I wasn't begging for this man to stay with me, but I
Yeah.
love them and you want to fight for your relationship.
Sure.
But I was like, I
I
don't
have
think that
said
she
what
did
she
anything
has
wrong.
said. I have
Yeah.
said those words to somebody.
And
Like
especially like
it's heart wrenching.
2 days later, but it's like he was never into planning the wedding. He was never, I think, and then I was like, he's making all these little excuses about it or whatever. And I was like,
He's
he,
saying things purposely that are adverse to her. That's
yeah,
how it felt. And they weren't like
yeah.
big things. It was just like, what, dude?
I just think about my last marriage and how much my divorce really hurt my ex. And it's
Like,
just
what
like,
the fuck, dude?
that's not the point. So I think it's all bullshit. I think
I think it's all
he
bullshit. He
wasn't
just
ready to
wanted to
get
be on
married.
TV.
He
He
just
just wanted to be
wanted
on TV.
he wanted to fuck Buddy. And the fact that he had to wear a glove, he's not gonna do it. And so he
Gross.
couldn't get what he couldn't use her the way he wanted to anymore. But it's like she is sobbing and he's just like it just seemed very performative from him for me.
Yeah.
And so I was
Yeah.
like, but again, he he was right. He did her a fucking favor.
He did her a fucking favor.
Mm-hmm.
She was so far out of his league. It was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like she needs
He would have just dragged her down, made her pregnant, derailed her whole life.
her whole life,
So
her
I'm
whole
glad.
career.
I am not glad that she had to experience that, but I am going through what we have gone through in our life. This is
Yeah.
an absolute gift that they did not get married,
Yeah.
that he did not marry her.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
But
So that
like
was really sad. And then we got to
watching it was
watch,
heartbreaking.
and then we got to watch her breakdown.
Mm.
And that was so like
And
relatable.
I was just thinking, like, there's got to be two camera people in that bedroom with them,
Yeah.
from the angles that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And then a whole sound person
yeah. And then,
and I think one more person, I think like a producer.
and
So
to,
it's like four more people in there watching her have
and
a
to,
breakdown. How traumatic is that?
but to be there, I was like, I couldn't be a camera person because I would be like, come
I know.
here. And you just have to just let her like handle it solely and not comfort her and just
Yeah.
sob. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I
No.
couldn't do it.
It's got to be so hard.
But also when she's like, did I just make it all up in my mind? I was like, I think you wanted to see what you wanted to see. Like you wanted to be in love with Ramses.
Sure, but looking from the outside, he was never.
He was never in it with her.
No.
Again, I said earlier on the show, I hope that she is dating Bodie now.
I do
He was
too.
tall and
Very,
handsome, and
oof.
mm-hmm,
He
mm-hmm.
was so
He's,
handsome.
he
And
seemed like
I
that
think
calm
they
force.
align
Mm-hmm.
way better than her and Ramsey.
For sure. For sure.
So, okay, so heartbreak and then
Mhm.
wedding and then
The like
Taylor and
sweetest
Garrett.
couple. Yeah, Taylor and Garrett.
First of all, her mom, her her quiet, soft spoken, sweet, thoughtful, very intuitive mama.
You could see the worry on her mom's face, and I think she could finally like release it once they both said yes.
I think that I feel like she knew he was a good guy.
I think so
Like when
too.
she was talking about him, she was like, he's a really good guy. Like she seemed like she was getting choked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then her dad with him, he's so excited to have a son-in-law.
I
He's so
know.
excited. That's the
Mm-hmm.
cute. But hold on, how come all of the parents got married on the 13th? All of them.
That
I
was
started,
very.
I immediately when Garrett's parents
Mm-hmm.
were like, oh, the 13th, that's the day we got married. Sobbing, sobbing, Rachel. I was hyperventilating. They're gonna be together forever like their parents. Like it was ridiculous. I am such
Oh,
a softie.
it
Like,
is.
God, it was so beautiful. And then like she wrote these words to him that
Mm-hmm.
were like so poetic. Like, Garrett, get
And
it together.
she's like, I caught a big fish. And then I had to explain to Deadpool that I was like, that's because he is a guy that fishes, like it was, yeah, it was very, very sweet. Her dress was so like chic, sophisticated, like,
Stunning.
mm-hmm.
I think my favorite part about them is that they're both scientists
Yeah, and I like
and
on the
they're
replay.
very logical and they're like, no, this is an experiment. And like they took it like a real experiment and they were like hardcore about it. And they
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really like it just seems like they really jumped in
Mm-hmm.
to trust the experiment
Yes.
because they're scientists. And even though that's illogical to jump in and marry somebody, they're scientists. So they're like, no, this is the scientific process. Now we're going to get married and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see it out. Like, this is crazy and also very logical. And I love that for them.
I think they're a
So
really good mix
romantic.
of heart and head.
Yes.
Because it's not
So
just
cute.
Mr. Spock about it, not all logic, because again,
Right.
you do need that emotional part of it. And it's like they did come to like find love together and whatnot. So I think it's a really good mix of it doesn't always have to be just one way.
Yeah.
It's not all emotions. You do have to, play your cards a certain way. Cause again, she did not disclose what she looked
Mhm.
like or anything that would um sway
Jeopardized.
someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The experiment.
Hmm.
They were hardcore about the experiment. That's what I mean.
And I think she still makes some work for it, which I really, really love. She's
Yeah.
just like, you
Good.
better not stop dating me. You better, it's so
Men should
yeah.
always be working for it. They should always
Mhm.
be dating us
Yeah. And then
constantly.
I was showing Deadpool. I was like, look at Garrett now. You're gonna tell me this man isn't wifed up? Like, look at this style, look at this hair,
Look at this hair.
look at this man. And he's like, I see him. I get it. Yeah.
I love that.
So
So
he
you
had
were right. Your
he
predictions were so good.
He got choked up at the weddings as well because he's just a big old softy. So we do
Oh
appreciate,
my
again,
God, what
love
a
it when a
sweet
man
man.
cries,
I know. I love it when a man cries.
So he was like invested for the last episode. I was like, next week we're gonna watch the like reunion. We're gonna get that cheese.
Oh shit. You know what? You know what we're gonna do with the reunion? We're gonna talk about it on the Patreon.
Mm.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
We're gonna
are.
talk shit about all these people on Patreon.
I love it.
It's gonna be great.
I can't wait for that cheese, May.
This is hot, hot e.
Piping hot
Yeah, like
Irish
what's
coffee
going on?
cheese.
Okay, so if I'm what if they didn't have that full conversation and Ashley and Tyler show up to the reunion? Dun dun dun.
She's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
this is too much. No, I think she'll stay with him because she's like, well, we're
Yeah.
married now. We got to work it through. Ride
Yeah.
or die. She's
Yeah.
she's in.
Which is crazy because her mom was not. She's her daughter up so fast. You'd
Well,
think it was a fucking custody switch.
you can tell that they are
A
like,
visitation pickup. Give me my food. Oh my God. But her
because
dad is
I
so handsome.
no,
It's a red flag, but he is handsome. That's a handsome man. Distinguished gentleman. Like if I didn't know he was trash, I'd go for him.
you would.
I
Me,
would.
I was like, I could clock that man a mile away. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Like what's his name? Clay's dad. Very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Similar energies. I bet they're the same sign, but they're both Aquarius.
I don't know. Oh,
Aquarius, the both of them.
do you want to meet me over at the Spellbound portion now that we've got our
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks for meeting us so early in the morning for our reactions. And I just want to say I'm 2 for 2.
You are. You fucking
100%.
amazing. I love this for us.
Thank you.
All right. Let's
Oh,
hear.
Jackie, you are here with a 3 card tarot pull. You've been shuffling those cards. Any bonus cards pop out?
No bonus cards popped up
Mm-hmm.
today.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. We have the first card here is going to be the four of cups, and I am just flipping through my
You're still on the
notes.
Black Tarot. They yelled at you
Still
last
black.
show, but you've come back
Girlfriend.
because you know they were right.
It was literally so traumatic, to be honest. Like so traumatic. I was like, what the hell? But it did give me something to think about, which that's something that tarot usually does. It gives me something to think about, something to journal about. So, anyways, let's get to it. The Four of Cups. Find some time to rest. So if you're like really going and going and going, this I so
Alex,
need
that
to
card
rest.
is for you. She took her time to rest.
Yeah. So if you've been going hard, listen, we are almost all the way through October, and then in 2 hours, Christmas is going to be here. Okay. So rest up.
Yes, yes, yes.
So rest the fuck up. The second card we have is the Magician.
Mm.
All right. The Magician represents choices and creative problem solving, a connection between imagination and reality. So choices, problem solving, solutions. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Really rest up, because after you're done resting, you're going to be able to think much more clearly about that problem or that choice that you are mulling over, that's giving you such stress, such like a lack of sleep, which I think I'm getting yelled at again. I'm not sure if it's for me, for you, or for somebody in the audience, but if you relate to it, if this resonates with you, obviously, um let me know. Let me know how it
Mm-hmm.
turns out. But the final card is the Six of Cups. So once you determine what you think that choice might be, or if you need a little bit of help determining the right path to go to, the Six of Cups really has a lot to do with reaching out to those around you, the ones that you love, people that you care about, to create new and happy memories, help you get through this problem solving fork in the road that you're having to get through. The people that are around you know you and love you best. They're going to be the ones that you want to lean on. So get some rest, because you got big choices ahead of you, and lean on the people that you love around you so that they can help you see through that big choice, that big change you're about to make. And that is the reading.
Oh,
I know.
I know. Jackie, what a fantastic episode.
Ah, what an episode, Rach. I'm glad we're
Yeah.
doing this. We're going to have tons to talk about on the next episode of Chunkless Cheese May
Choni's
and
Chonkless Cheese
Choni's
Man.
Chunkless and Cheese May. It's a lot of CH sounds. So, because I am headed out to Vegas and Miami over the Halloween.
I
Probably
I
be
know.
back on Halloween, but still, we're gonna have so much to talk about. So
I
if
am
you are
headed
not
to,
subscribed,
yeah. Get subscribed. Link is in the info in the show notes below. I am
yeah,
headed to Nevada and then to California for 2 weeks, which I will
that's
be
right.
seeing your lovely face in the flesh.
Yes, in the flash. And you're gonna go see Bush.
I am going to see my 13-year-old self is screaming on the inside that I will be in the same room as Gavin Rossdale.
I mean, it's a good time. It's a good year to heal your inner child. And that is a great way to do so. I love it so much.
I love it so much. So, are you ready to join me over on the Patreon, everyone?
Let's go.
Go. We'll see you over there. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on another fantastic and fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent
Spellbound with Black.
and Whitefield.
Clinkies.
Twinkies.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.